The domesticated cat is one of the most popular pets in the world for many reasons. Cute, cuddly, as well as efficient mousers, cats have effectively spread across the globe due to humans bringing their feline companions with them to new worlds. Cats are unique as they are considered to be one of the few obligate carnivore species that have become domesticated. In fact, it is considered rare for a species to become domesticated. Researchers suggest that this might be due to two explanations. Either a limited number of animals have a special pre-adaptation towards domestication, or perhaps animals had a particular need to domesticate a certain accessible species for a purpose that other species couldn't fulfill at the time. Therefore, cats were domesticated simply as a consequence that they fulfilled the role of pest control in ancient human societies. This would effectively mean that many other species could in fact become domesticated if humans decided to selectively breed them. Some researchers sought to explore this theory by examining the affiliative or social behavior of other felids to see how they measure up to the domesticated cat. Are there other wild cat species that could possibly become domesticated? In the study, 22 small to medium-sized species of cats were used, including a caracal, serval, bobcat, Eurasian lynx, African wildcat, and the ocelot. The most important trait the researchers wanted to assess was the extent to which members of a species become tame when kept in captivity. This information was collected through questionnaires given to zookeepers who would be asked to record behaviors such as sitting, rolling, licking, and rubbing humans in close proximity. The cats that were hand-reared were far more likely to show affiliative behaviors and were omitted from the study. The results were rather surprising. The ocelot lineage, which includes the ocelot, Geoffrey's cat, and margay, were among the 5 species ranked as containing the most individuals showing affiliative behavior. The other 2 individuals were African wildcats, which is, unsurprisingly, considered to be the ancestor of the domestic cat. In addition, the ocelot lineage displayed significantly more tactile behavior than the other lineages. There was, however, at least one individual from each lineage that performed rubbing, and licking was reported from all the lineages except the Asian leopard cat group. The researchers concluded that affiliative behaviors were patchily distributed throughout different cat species and were not concentrated in a domesticated cat's close relatives. While the ancestral subspecies of the domesticated cat group had a high proportion of affiliative individuals, some of which performed rubbing and licking behaviors, so did other species, including the Geoffrey's cat, margay, and sand cat. All 3 representatives of the ocelot lineage and a caracal had individuals that rubbed or licked their keepers, regardless of not being as closely related to the domesticated cat. Therefore, the researchers concluded that any or all of the above-mentioned species may be pre-adapted for domestication, and given this information, the researchers suggested that if all of these species have a tendency towards tameness, there must be another reason that the domesticated cat emerged to become so strongly associated with human societies, and they suggest that human need was the likely explanation. So what might this information tell us about keeping exotic cats as pets? The practice is often criticized by those who believe that only domesticated cats make suitable pets. However, if the conclusion of the researchers has validity, the domesticated cat is not special in regards to its genetic attributes, and other feline species can be domesticated in some sense. The beautiful margay is a threatened species that is not kept as a pet. However, the ocelot was famously owned as a pet by the artist Salvador Dali, and these felines used to be commonly offered as pets in the United States, but their captive populations plummeted, and they are no longer available to own privately. The Geoffrey's cat, however, remains a cat that can be obtained as a pet. Be forewarned, however, they are not known to be similar to domesticated cats when owned privately, and when it comes to their husbandry, standard recommendations for exotic cat keeping apply, so you might not want to add the Geoffrey's cat to your household without experience with more challenging non-traditional pets. The results of the study were particularly compelling because the subjects were not hand-raised, which is usually how exotic animals are tamed in captivity. In addition, the subjects were not intentionally being bred for tameness, yet still possessed these behaviors. One could imagine what the results would be if these cats were part of a specialized breeding program and were also hand-raised. It should be noted, however, that not every individual cat in a study displayed affiliative behaviors. This may reflect how the process of domestication takes place, at least when it is defined by a species evolving around humans as a selective pressure. Dog and cat domestication likely took place with a particular population of animals that had higher levels of human tolerance, and they subsequently adapted to exploit that niche. just as many other species have done. The population that possesses certain qualities naturally will then have an advantage and produce offspring selecting for those traits. This process can be replicated through captive breeding. The researchers have at least shown that domestication isn't as simple as people often believe it is. While humans historically exploited various species for their own survival, in modern times, we've become accustomed to keeping pets for companionship and pleasure. We've expanded our idea of what makes a good pet, and this is just a natural progression of human interest that need not be interfered with as long as we understand the animals we work with and provide them with the proper care.